There's this thing that happens in Pentecostal churches when the praise and worship leader starts thinking they can outpray the leader of the church. It's usually right around this time that they leave to go form their own church. And somehow this model has found its way into our politics. And that's how we've ended up with the mess that is grown men and women fighting over 3 letters of the alphabet. Do you know how ridiculous it is that just 4 years ago, Obed Gutu was MDC spokesperson fighting ZANU-PF henchmen like Kasukuwere daily on social media, only for him to leave, and not just leave and join ZANU-PF. Now he's fighting those same people, but as a ZANU-PF member, while those people are yelling Pasine ZANU from exile. With the 2023 elections looming closer, it's time that we ask ourselves the tough and uncomfortable questions. Do we, at this moment, actually have opposition parties? And do these opposition parties have a plan? Ladies and gentlemen, war vets and unfocused youth, welcome to another episode of Propaganda with Kandoro. Opposition parties are vital in any thriving democracy. They exist not only to keep the government in check, but to give citizens a viable alternative to the government of the day. But when that government of the day is ZANU-PF, your days become pretty long. When the Movement for Democratic Change was formed in 1999, these guys knew who and what they were fighting for.
I think the people of this country want change because Mugabe's government has betrayed the very revolution that he was leading. It is his government that has amassed wealth to the small ruling elite, that have destroyed the economy and the future of this country, that has created conditions for mass unemployment and destruction of the only economic infrastructure that was there. He is the one which has created insecurity and lack of confidence in this economy. So who has betrayed the interests of Zimbabweans other than him?
Now, 22 years, 7 elections, and 2 referendums later, things are a little blurry. Let's play a quick game.
Right, this game is called Who Said What. In I'll read a sentence here and you have to tell me who said those words. Number 1, who said we are all in politics because we want money? Was it Obam Chinguri? Was it Linda Mazarira? Or was it Monica Mchango? You are wrong. It was Thokozani Kupe. I know you are wrong. Number 2, who said Takasangana na Trump? Sorry, wrong card. Who said it was very stupid for people to demonstrate for the results to be released? Was it Victor Matemadanda? Was it Ezi Lumumba? Or was it Joseph Chinotimba? Wrong again. It was Nelson Chamisa. Who said, finally, Tombo Jgao, Jgao? Who said those words? That one was me. 2017, Pataka Pindaga, new dispensation.
I'm sure you get the idea. With each passing day, it gets harder and harder to separate those in the opposition and those auditioning for positions in ZANU-PF. The MDC is an institution that was born primarily from the Zimbabwe Congress of Trade Unions. Its whole identity is rooted in workers and protecting the rights of workers. So when you hear that the MDC hasn't paid its polling agents from the 2018 elections, it throws you off a little bit. If the main opposition party does not pay its functionaries, how can we trust it to be different from the current ruling party, which has reduced doctors to paupers? But let me not get ahead of myself. How did we even get here? When Tsvangirai appointed Chamisa and Mudzuri as vice presidents in 2016, it was against the party constitution. Thokozani Kupe felt slighted, and rightly so. She was a Congress-elected vice president while Mujuri and Chamisa had been given the same power and privilege on a silver platter. Kupe was made to feel like she was not respected enough because she was a woman and because of the geographical location of her home province. These questions of sexism and tribalism were again swept under the rug. When Tsvangirai passed in 2018, Chamisa was given interim leadership of the MDC. Rather than call for an extraordinary Congress, he marched right ahead, missing an opportunity to legitimize his presidency and unite the party, ultimately leading to complications that we see today. Complications which have cost Chamisa not only the MDC name, but also the party headquarters, leaving them to operate from Beaches Veranda in Newton Park.
No, President muri right. Ramemuri pani vanhu kuma side ngavauye ka mukauya then mukaswedera pani ngiri vamwana vanopinda. Pindai futi, swederai futi. No guys. No pindai. Then vari kumashure pindai.
A major undoing of the opposition has been its obsession with the 2018 election results. It's nearly 3 years after the election, and everyone except the MDC seems to have moved on. People have since stopped asking if God is in it, and seem to have made peace with the fact that ED is the head of state and government and commander-in-chief of the Zimbabwe Defense Forces. Easy. ZANU-PF has already started prepping for the 2023 elections. In fact, they have already declared themselves winners.
As far as we are concerned, 2023 election is a foregone conclusion. In fact, it's over before the people vote.
So at what point do you stop calling ED illegitimate and get on with the business of fighting voter apathy? How do you motivate citizens, young people especially, who voted for the first time in 2018 to vote again, if for the past 3 years you've been preaching that their vote was stolen? I've been old enough to remember at least 4 elections, and the MDC has disputed every single one of them. To be fair, they've had some pretty strong reasons to. Who can forget in 2008 when ZEC took more than 3 weeks to announce the presidential election results? But at some point, the question then becomes, why are you still participating in these elections if you already know how they're going to end? Are you going to keep crying foul, or are you going to do something about it? Shouldn't the priority right now be lobbying for electoral reforms? And I'm not talking about strongly worded press statements, actual plans and programs put in place to achieve electoral reforms and ensure that the citizens' vote is protected come 2023. Instead, we have comrades busy paraphrasing the Bible.
Don't go on, hey, MDC apera, MDC haina plan. But in kuziva kuti vanhu ivavo vane plan here. Kuruka kunzi vapinda nhasi tavati alright oinyanga.
Ngatidaro mema kutobaisa boys.
Plan yenyu
Kana munhu ati ada kuvhoterwa ngangoya nema-ideas ake ongotaura kuti ndiwo ma-ideas angu kai ina hanha kuti ndoda kuvhoterwa kai. Saka pressure ndeye, otherwise munhu ngaagare padheni. Munhu ada kuvhoterwa ngauye nema-ideas ekuti zvaanoda kuita anozviita sei. Otherwise munhu ngaagare padheni. Tese takangogara padheni wani. Hapana kana munhu ambotuka munhu. Waiziya?
Our opposition has become notorious for how they treat those who disagree with them. There is a lot of name calling. Murakashi uyo, ndewe ZANU uyo, imboko uyo. If the ZANU-PF tag fails to stick, they are ridiculed for their lack of popularity. While it's true that ZANU-PF invests eyes and ears within the opposition and civic society ecosystem, this is how democracy works. A movement that purports to support free thinking should be willing to accommodate healthy disagreement. But history has shown us otherwise. In 2009, Job Sikala raised concerns over how party funds were being distributed. His questions over finances created infractions within the party which was so bad, he had to leave. Sikala went on to form MDC 1999. In 2014, Tsvangirai expelled his Secretary General Tendai Biti along with 21 other MPs. He called it a ZANU-PF project meant to destabilize the MDC. I won't even get into the expulsions and recalls that have been happening since 2018. What makes all of this even crazier is that most of these people have kissed and made up, even after all the vicious name calling. While it's not criminal for comrades to kiss and make up, in fact, we encourage comrades to kiss and make up. But a comrade cannot one day wake up a villain, then go back to being a hero, then back to being a villain again. This is not Fast and Furious. At the very least, give the people an explanation. The issues that lead to these expulsions and walkouts rarely get addressed, and the movement, instead of becoming a robust organization, becomes a club where marriages of convenience are facilitated. Ultimately, what the people see is an institution that does not respect its followers.
I would rather team robuda bachena rabuda rati inzwaika team right now hapana plan. Right now dang clan to our crowdfund my ideas. Tutangira ipap. Anona team ikatibudira bachena kuti hapana plan tutangira ipap rather than kuti izvo time through time isuti tigaya kuti pane plan then tozoona kuti hapana plan then totatsamwa tenda kechitu because now taane nzara.
But there are things that the MDC has done that we have to applaud. We are haters, really, but not really. We can't applaud. We have to. Communication is one such area. Since Fadzai Here was appointed national spokesperson, MDC communications have greatly improved. Another great thing has been the gender parity policy, which sets out to achieve 50-50 representation in all political spheres. The 1 million vote campaign is also another pretty great initiative which aims to go beyond urban areas into the rural areas to persuade more citizens to vote. But as great as all these initiatives are, they live and die with the execution. It's not enough to say we are doing something. We need to see it done and done well. A lot more can be done to strengthen and promote gender representation. What's happening to Joanna Mamombe, Netsai Marova, and Cecilia Chimbiri is something that is designed by ZANU-PF to discourage women's active involvement in politics. The movement needs to show that it will go above and beyond to protect its members. We applaud the MDC Social Welfare Department under Maureen Kademaunga, which has done very well to ensure that those incarcerated at least have the basics which allow them their dignity. Communications have greatly improved, but again, a whole lot more needs to be done. Anything short of a top-tier communication strategy is how you get people like Jonathan Moore, a former ZANU-PF minister in exile, dominating discourses which are supposed to be led by the opposition. That dance with ZANU during the GNU is the best and worst thing to ever happen to Zimbabwe. Best because it gave us an opportunity to see what a functional economy looks like. But also the worst because it crippled the opposition. They now behave like a child who went for holidays at their rich cousins and won't shut up about it. Could it be that opposition leaders are now too rich to resonate with the headaches of the poor? That they too need to be briefed on the circumstances of the people? We want the opposition to stop acting like they are doing Zimbabweans a favor by fighting for them. You're not going to get young people interested in voting after calling them unfocused. We want to see a disciplined opposition. Leaders who we can trust. Leaders who can be clearly distinguished by their words and actions. We need the politics to become more issue-based. We are tired of hearing promises of the same thing. A proverbial Zimbabwe whose path we cannot see. This has been another episode of Propaganda with Kandoro. And if everything goes well, I'll catch you guys next week.